to a new episode of Cover Story. This week we have Congress General Secretary Digvijay Singh doing what he does best, rolling up his sleeves and taking on the RSS, the BJP, with a special focus on Narendra Modi and his Twitter army. Take a look. Hello and welcome to NewsX, Mr. Singh. So you've been accusing the BJP of instigating riots in non-BJP ruled states. Do you have any proof of this?
If you see the history of communal violence in this country, you would find that from the very beginning, from the days of Jan Sangh till date, even during the partition, Sardar Vallabhbhai Patel banned RSS on the basis of unclinching evidence of the Sangh activists instigating communal hatred and leading the factions leading to communal riots. After that, wherever there was a communal riot and judicial commission was set up, you would find that the communal elements of both sides, the Hindus and the Muslims, were
But that is then what?
No, I'm coming to that. Mr. Lal Krishna Advani's Rath Yatra totally communalized the body politic of this country. Wherever they went, it left a highly communalized, polarized community, which led to communal violence at the slightest provocation. And these people have been provocating through their speeches, through their pamphlets, and through their actions. Similarly, there are elements among the Muslims also, who have been just doing what BJP is doing among the Hindus. And I had warned that they would be targeting Nitish Kumar because he had decided to break away from the NDA.
But other than a coincidence, do you have any other proof? I mean, you made the statement and the blast happened soon after, the Bodh Gaya blast. But other than that, do you have any other proof?
See, I'm not an investigative agency. But when you see the people involved, they are the Sangh activists.
But no proof has been found yet, Mr. Singh.
If you see, wherever these incidents have taken place, if you do a detailed study of the people named in the FIR, you will find these people. Now, even the Bodh Gaya incident, the incident took place at 5 in the morning. And 7 in the morning, there were 500 to 600 BJP activists raising slogans against Modi at the gate of Bodh Gaya temple. Now, either they are very efficient, highly organized, that they react very fast. The other point I'm trying to make is, they have been making provocative statements. If you see the Vishwa Hindu Parishad pamphlets, it is so provocative that, and so I would say abusive in their language, which incites the communal feelings. So, therefore,
so these are circumstantial coincidences. I mean, for you to say even in Kishtewar ke baad ke, there is BJP is responsible for this, that's a very dangerous statement for someone like you to make, Mr. Singh. You're also a senior
I'm a responsible person, Priya, and whenever I make a statement, I usually do it on facts.
So you have facts of their involvement.
The point I'm trying to make is that in Tok incident also, there were these BJP elements involved, and there were some Muslim youth also who were involved. So this conflict does take place at the grassroots level because of the provocative statements and provocative slogans. We have heard BJP people shouting slogans like Hind Hindu Hindustan, Mullah Jai Pakistan. These were the slogans of the BJP. So whenever such statements and provocative slogans are made, it's bound to create a similar reaction among the Muslims.
But having said that, you're also getting the reputation of making a lot of controversial statements, a lot of, trigger-happy statements, you could say also,
I don't make trigger-happy statements because whenever I make statement, I do it based on my conviction and based on facts. Isn't it a fact that since BJP has come out of alliance from JDU, the number of riots, communal violence taking place in Bihar has increased fourfold? Isn't it a fact?
But apart from that, Mr. Singh, for instance, your comments say about Meenakshi Natarajan, which created a lot of furor in the media and otherwise. What exactly did you mean by that? You were saying that you were misunderstood.
You see, if you see my statement, I've praised Meenakshi Natarajan for her simplicity, her integrity and her Gandhian values.
But what did it come out?
One second. You see, you people on the English media don't understand the colloquial language in the regional areas. I had said that I have seen politics for the last 40 years. I am a Johari of politicians. I know who's a fraud and who's real. As far as she is concerned, she is a Sawtanch Mal. Sawtanch Mal is referred to jewellery which is 100% pure. And when I am a Johari, it is naturally I am referring to the simile in politics. And you people unnecessarily went on a spin. And unfortunately, I am leveling a charge against media that they picked up this statement out of context and they connected mal with some kind of a derogatory word against a woman.
Because it is usually used like that.
No, it's not correct. It's not correct. Purity of heart and purity of a person is called Sawtanch in our area where I was addressing. So there are some words which are used for women in Bihar is respectful. The same word if you use in Jharkhand is disrespectful. Same thing about in Western UP. A word which is used for girl, it may be abusive in some other area. So if you I don't know why media is targeting me on issues of irrelevance. For example, they leveled a charge against me that I called Osama bin Laden as Osama ji. Now, point I am trying to make is that was again out of context.
You said
I had said I congratulate the US administration for eliminating such a dreaded terrorist. But I am surprised by the Pakistani army's attitude. Osama ji, it's a sarcasm, is living 100 meters from Pakistani military academy and the Pakistani army doesn't know. And this one was taken out of context. Let me tell you, Priya, I was the only one who protested when Jama Masjid Shahi Imam Sahib, he organized a function to honor Osama bin Laden. I was the only one who said it's a wrong thing to be done. I have been fighting against the Muslim fanatics and the fundamentalists as strongly as I've been fighting the Hindu fundamentalists. I was the first chief minister in this country who asked for a ban on Simi, which was responsible for Bombay blast. Why don't you give me credit for that? And I have not made a single statement which is out of context, which is derogatory to anyone.
No, I'll tell you why. Because the problem is, Mr. Singh, that also some of your statements get to be misunderstood. So why walk into that grey area where an Osama ji may be taken out of context, where a Sawtanch Mal may be misunderstood?
No, listen to me. Has media lost its all sense of propriety? Has media lost its understanding of the issues? Can't you also understand colloquial language? Can't you understand sarcasm in my statement? If it is so, I'm sorry, very sorry about the media's sense of understanding these issues.
But I'll tell you something else. For instance, Twitter, most of today's debate takes place on Twitter. There was a somewhat derogatory reference to you. So I replied to that. I said, why don't you, instead of abusing the man, attack him? There's no problem. But don't abuse the man. And the responses I got, they said, this is a man who calls RSS thugs. This is the man who says that we make bombs. So, you know,
yes, I have proof of that. I have never called Sangh a thug. I have called Baba Ramdev a thug. And I stand by it. Okay. But as far as Sangh is concerned, I have said yes. Some of their activists have been caught making bombs. Some of their activists have been caught throwing bombs. Some of their activists have been caught planting bombs. There was a defamation suit filed by the Sangh activist against me in Gwalior. But when I put up facts, they withdrew the case. So I don't make any statement, but the kind of abuses these Sanghis are using against me on the social media, but I still don't care.
Okay, moving on from RSS to your own party. You know, on 15th August, Indira Gandhi has done it 11 times, Jawaharlal Nehru has done it 14 times. Now, if UPA 3 comes to power, Manmohan Singh will beat the record. He will be the first non-Gandhi Prime Minister to address from the Red Fort 15 times. He will have his own record. Is the Congress ready for a non-Gandhi person to have this record, non-Nehru Gandhi?
Your question is highly hypothetical.
Well, I'm giving you the Congress coming back to power. You should be happy.
First of all, I'm grateful to you that you are giving us another 5 years. So I would say thank you very much for that. But I would answer this question after the 2014 elections have come in.
So like a politician, you choose the part you want to answer. But will Manmohan Singh get another term? Let me put it more bluntly.
It all depends. First, the people of this country have to give us another opportunity to govern this country for 5 years.
The Congress is still not decided who will be the prime ministerial candidate.
The Congress party doesn't decide these prime ministerial candidates or chief ministerial candidates.
No, candidates you can decide.
No, it is the candidates who will be contesting MLAs and members of parliament elections. And it is in a parliamentary democracy, it is the chosen, elected MLAs and members of parliament, MPs, who then elect their own leader, who becomes the leader of the House.
This is not what happened in 2009. You went with Manmohan Singh as your prime minister.
Yes, this was the one time. This was one time.
But kya badal gaya?
This was one time, and this was done at the last moment. We've got this election. There's one more year left. So wait for the day when we release our election manifesto. The Congress party, the Congress president may take a view.
But is there reluctance to take a view stemming from the reluctance of Rahul Gandhi?
It's not a question of reluctance, or not question of reluctance of A, B, C or D. The issue is that in a parliamentary...
There's only one who's reluctant. Manmohan Singh has said, I'm ready for a third term.
Parliamentary democracy is fought on ideology, programs and policies. It is not fought on personalities.
Not always. You had an exception to the rule. It worked. You got your biggest mandate in about 3 decades, last in 2009. So why not go with it again?
No, not in 3 decades. Yes, 2 decades.
2 decades. Okay, but why not go with it again?
Well, let's see.
Isn't there a debate within the Congress? Because I remember you said that we will not decide the prime ministerial candidate. Janardhan Dwivedi then said that we will decide the prime ministerial candidate. We may decide.
Yes, we may decide, yes.
So you are saying that there is an...
The question is that in a parliamentary democracy, usually the Congress party does not declare its chief ministerial candidate or prime ministerial candidate.
Sometimes it does.
Even when I became a chief minister, I was never declared as a chief minister candidate. Even in Karnataka,
but as sitting chief minister, you fought off the next 2 elections.
In 1993, I was not a sitting chief minister. In Karnataka, we did not declare our candidate.
No, once in your second term as sitting chief minister, in 98, you were the candidate, like Manmohan is the sitting prime minister.
In Uttarakhand, we did not declare our chief minister candidate. Even in Himachal, we never declared Veerbhadra Singh ji as our candidate.
But Veerbhadra Singh, you didn't want to declare him even after you won. He forced your hand.
No, how do you say that?
He was threatening to leave the party, Mr. Singh.
Absolutely incorrect. After we got the majority, the MLAs chose him as the leader, and he had the blessings of the Congress president. So he was chosen as the chief minister of Himachal Pradesh.
But is the reluctance also to do with the fact that you don't want this to be a Rahul versus Modi battle, which is now what it's beginning to look like?
See, why should we equate Rahul Gandhi with Narendra Modi? Narendra Modi is a state leader. He has not proved his worth anywhere outside Gujarat. If he wants to debate, let him debate with Digvijay Singh. Let him debate with Sheila Dikshit. Let him debate with Tarun Gogoi. Let him debate with Bhupender Hooda. Let him debate with Kiran Reddy or Siddaramaiah or Prithviraj Chauhan. And tell me one thing, Priya. Has BJP won in any state where he has gone to campaign? Even as a General Secretary in charge of BJP, he was in charge of Madhya Pradesh when BJP lost in 1998 in Madhya Pradesh. So what is the track record of Mr. Narendra Modi? Yes, he has successfully sort of marketed himself through, of course, the courtesy APCO Worldwide. Now I am told Sukhanti Ghosh, the APCO Worldwide Indian head, has formally joined as the campaign manager for Mr. Narendra Modi, who are great spin doctors. No, and Narendra Modi with his ability to spin a yarn not based on facts, he needs spin doctors. So he's probably got the best spin doctor possible. There's Sukhanti Ghosh.
But what about the Congress? You are also now taking the social media very...
Social media, yes, but on facts. We have identified on 60 occasions where Mr. Narendra Modi has spoken. Even the vibrant Gujarat claims are not based on facts. In 2010-2011, the implementation of the MOUs was less than 3% of his claims. Even in the case of water, 4,000 villages in Gujarat don't have drinking water. Even after...
Okay, I'm going to interrupt you because I know you have a whole list and you will not stop.
Okay.
But to go back to what you said, like let Sheila Dikshit answer Modi, let Hooda answer, let Prithviraj Chauhan...
Let Digvijay Singh answer.
Let Digvijay Singh answer. Good, I'm glad you added your name because my question is that in the BJP, Modi is a prime ministerial candidate. Are you all also...
That's their concern.
But you know, in a BJP, a three-time chief minister can dream to be prime minister. In the Congress, Sheila Dikshit is on the verge. She may even win a fourth term, but she can never dream to be prime minister. This is the tragedy
Did Dr. Manmohan Singh ever dream of becoming a prime minister? And he did it.
You're saying they have a chance? Sheila Dikshit has a chance?
Everyone has a chance. So what?
Does Manmohan Singh have another chance? He still doesn't know. That is
naturally.
While Modi...
When he was selected by the party in 2004, did anyone know that he would become the prime minister?
That is the thing. In the Congress, nobody knows. While here, Modi can at least openly declare, I want to be Prime Minister.
Well, that is the difference between Congress Party and BJP. The Congress Party uses power to empower the people. And BJP empowers, seeks power to grab power. So therefore, there's a subtle difference between the two. If you see the history of Congress Party, right from 1947 onwards, we empowered the scheduled caste, scheduled tribes. We empowered the people through the bank nationalization, through coal mines nationalization, through computers,
and yet,
through
Mr.
IT,
Rahul Gandhi says today the systems are not working.
73rd, 74th
Despite
amendment,
all this empowerment.
73rd, 74th amendment, through right to information, to right to education, to right to food, right to work, right to the women, right to the tribals. We have empowered the people.
And the right to make lists. But tell me something, despite your empowerment, your Rahul Gandhi is saying that the systems are not working.
Exactly.
So whose fault is that? His party has been in power for 3/4 of the independence.
Because, Priya, you forget, in a federal government, the government of India provides the money, provides the law. The implementation is by the state governments.
And yet the BJP rule state governments are implementing better than...
Who told you that?
Food Security Act is better implemented in
you are mistaken.
Chhattisgarh and Tamil Nadu, the food distribution.
You are mistaken. The governance in the states is across the board. Some states are doing well in some sectors, some are doing in different sectors. But how do you blame the incompetent delivery mechanism on the government of India? We don't execute
No,
these
but
instruments.
where are the Congress rule states that are actually being administered well?
Well, if you see Andhra Pradesh, one second, the best implementation of Narega was in Andhra Pradesh. If you see the implementation of even the execution of relief works were in Rajasthan. If you see the education sector, the best is Haryana. In Delhi itself, if you see the list of excellent work that has been done by Delhi government, even Assam, so there are success stories all over, but we don't make false claims. This man makes false claims.
You called him a Feku Obama. Now Modi's people are saying that actually in 2004 Modi said in Gujarat, yes you can.
I would like to see that bite. It's
on YouTube.
This is again. This is again.
But that bite is there.
This is again created by the people.
By your the spin doctors seem to be better than the Congress's spin doctors, Mr. Singh.
No, the point I'm trying to make is, has anyone heard Mr. Narendra Modi making the statement of I can?
Yes, Gujarat can. It's on the web. It's on YouTube.
So YouTube can be. How do you know? How do you date back this to 2004?
Okay.
It could have been produced yesterday. You mean to say that Obama copied Narendra Modi?
That's what he's saying. He's saying that Obama is a fake Modi.
Now another Twitter posting is that Swami Vivekananda said so.
Correct.
Then another time they say Bhagwan Ram said so. So this is how the Modi Nama goes.
But the Modi Nama, they are winning the war on Twitter. They're winning the war of perception. Will you at least concede that the Congress is not doing a good job of marketing itself well?
You see, this is what I'm saying. See, if the product is good, marketing is of course necessary.
But if
they are doing a good job of a bad product.
But where is your good product also?
We have excellent products all over.
And the division to divide Andhra, do you think, were you for it or against it? There are people as...
I will not go into it whether I was against or for it. It's a decision of the Congress Worker Committee, which has been taken after due consultation, due deliberation at different levels with all political parties.
But you know, this whole confusion over Hyderabad, people are still suspecting that in the end it will end up being a union territory. You had time to work this out.
You see, issue is not union territory. Issue is we have to find a way out legally so that it can remain a state capital of two different states for next 10 years. You can't have one state administration of a state capital of another state. So we have to find a way out for the period of 10 years when this happens.
We need your help to decode Rahul Gandhi. He made that very strange comment about saying poverty is a state of mind. That's been taken quite negatively by people. What exactly did he mean by this comment?
Well, I have not seen that statement in what context he had made. But if you see, Mahatma Gandhi said, there's enough for everyone's need, but not enough for everyone's greed. So there are people with billionaires who are yet not satisfied, and there are paupers who are quite satisfied.
For him to make a statement like this, it's not been taken well. Some of his statements, however well-meaning, need a lot of explanations.
Priya, again,
why do we need a footnote for everything Rahul says?
I would again say, in what context this statement was made. You media people cull out some statement out of context and make an issue out of it.
Because there is no one to explain the context to us then.
Why don't you ask our Congress spokespersons? They will explain the thing to you, in what context it had been said.
But why does he make statements that need explanations?
Everyone who makes a statement, if things picked out of context, would need an explanation. Take my example also. In two cases, you have taken out of context and leveled charges against me.
Okay, the last thing, the debate going on between Jagdish Bhagwati and Amartya Sen. Where do you stand in this?
Well, let me tell you one thing. Both are eminent economists. Professor Amartya Sen, of course, is a Nobel laureate and has been left of center. Professor Bhagwati is also a very highly respected economist. Now, if you see the economists world over, even those economists who are left of center or right of center, they have areas of conflict. So therefore, Digvijay Singh is not an economist. He is a political worker. I may agree with Amartya Sen ji on certain issues. I may agree with Professor Bhagwati on the other issues. But I cannot sit in judgment on the work done by eminent economists like Professor Amartya Sen or Professor Bhagwati. So it's a wrong question to be put to Digvijay Singh.
I'm asking you to comment on the political face.
There is no political face. I think Amartya Sen is not a politician.
But he's been seen as pro-Congress, while Bhagwati has been seen as pro-Modi, to put it very bluntly.
On some occasions, Amartya Sen is supposed to be seen as a communist also. And Mr. Professor Bhagwati has been seen sometimes to be following the Congress ideology also. So therefore, don't put labels on eminent economists like Amartya Sen or Professor Bhagwati.
Okay, last question. Your son, last question. Your son Jayawardhan, he is going to be probably contesting. He says that he's inclined towards politics.
Well,
what was your reaction when he said that?
I tried my best to dissuade him to get into public life, because I feel that it's a very tough life. And today in the society, netas are one of the most abused persons in the society. Of course, then in a democracy, you can't do without netas too. So, in spite of that, I gave him all the negative points of being in public life.
Didn't work.
After that, he said, no, in spite of that, I would like to. I said, go ahead. So now after he's done his master's in development practices from Columbia, he's now staying in my hometown and working with the people. Now, as far as his nomination is concerned, if the Congress party decides to put him as a candidate, he'll contest. Thank you.
Thank you so much for talking to me and answering all my very last questions.
Thank you.
And we wish both you and your son all the best.
Thank you, Priya. Best of luck to you.
Well, that's the thing about Digvijay Singh. He gives as good as he gets. That's all for this week. Thank you for watching Cover Story and see you again next week.